Hydro Flask released their new micro bottle earlier this year, and it tops out at only 6.7 ounces. Now, if you're like me, you may think at first, why would anybody want a bottle that small?
What is this? A bottle for ants!
But the thing is, they may have hit the jackpot by bucking the big water bottle trend that's dominated the last decade. It's already gone out of stock and is reselling for over 3 times the retail price. But what do you even use a bottle that small for? To find out, I looked up all of the posted reviews and found 2 things in particular that were mentioned by far the most frequently. I also checked on Reddit because that's always good for some entertainment, and let's just say there were some suggested uses that I didn't quite expect. But either way, given how this new product seems to be building momentum, let's take a closer look to see what people are actually saying about what's good and how they're using it. Here are the specs compared to a 32-ounce Hydro Flask so you can understand how small this thing really is. To put it into practical terms with something you're probably familiar with, it's pretty close to the same size as a 16-ounce soda or beer can, just a little shorter on the diameter and a little taller on the height. Now, as someone who's mostly been using 32-ounce and 40-ounce bottles for over a decade, I thought this seemed incredibly small, so I went to Hydro Flask's website to learn more. On the listing, they mention how it's perfect for ramen, hot water, maybe to mix it with something else, wine, and cold sips. But I went to the reviews to really find out how people are using it. After looking through all 96 posted reviews and counting up keywords and use cases, I came up with this chart, and there are 2 clear winners. For sure, the most common use will still be water, so I didn't include that on the chart because it seemed like a given, and I wanted to focus on what other things people were saying. Starting at the bottom end, only 1 person said they would use it for food, specifically grapes. 2 people said they would use it for milk or creamer, while another 2 said they'd keep it at their nightstand or desk. Only 3 mentioned liquor, though I have a sneaking suspicion that the true number is higher for this one. 5 people mentioned medications, vitamins, or supplements, and 6 mentioned how it's easy to fit in your pocket, while another 7 said they'd be more likely to carry it by clipping it to a bag out of convenience or like a bag charm. Now we're getting into the most common responses, and as you might expect, coffee and tea, with quite a few specifically mentioning espressos, which really does make sense for this size. Next was how people either got compliments or how they got them as gifts for other people who liked them. And 16 people mentioned how it's a much more manageable size, especially for quick walks in the neighborhood or errands. But the top 2 things were mentioned a lot more frequently than anything else. Number 2 is practical, and it's how easy it is to put in a purse or bag, which is definitely something that's a major drawback with big 32 and 40 ounce bottles. The top response by a significant margin has nothing to do with practicality or how you'd use it, but rather that it's cute and adorable. That tracks with Reddit, where the most upvoted post was simply how it's the cutest bottle ever. And as I suspected, there were a lot more votes for alcohol, so that's Reddit for you. Then it went into some even more unexpected directions with things like salad dressing, hot sauce, and even hollandaise. But the thing is, there were a lot of comments from people who said they didn't think the size was practical for them. And it's all setting up a very interesting battle of trends. For years, the focus has been on big bottles and improving hydration by drinking a lot more water, which is why big 32 and 40 ounce bottles are so common. But this micro bottle is clearly trending more towards minimalism and being more discreet with a bottle you can easily stow in a backpack or purse instead of carrying around a large, bulky, visible bottle. It's impossible to know how many people legitimately bought this bottle because it's a size they need, or if they bought it because it looks cool and now they have to find a use to justify it. Though given comments like these, the latter is clearly happening to some extent. But regardless, this product launch has clearly been a hit for Hydro Flask, and it comes after years of losing traction to brands like Stanley and Owala. So don't be surprised if other major brands follow suit and come out with their own micro bottles over the next year or so, and we'll see in a few years if this ends up being a trend towards a minimalism or just another water bottle fad. If you have one of these micro bottles already, comment below and let me know what you think, because honestly, I'm pretty curious to hear about it. And if you think this is something you would like, it's currently out of stock, and I believe it's only being sold on Hydro Flask's website, but you can sign up for updates so you can hear when it's released again, and I'm sure at some point it will be on Amazon. Thanks again, and happy hydrating.